The Happy Humpers. Annie says Kurtan, Bats, Bits, and Snorlax Boyd across the way. A bunch of names that if you've been following the UCS, you are certainly familiar with. JL, Overlord, Otter, Joey, and the Criminal Curios.
Criminal Curios has still never beaten me in Smash Brothers, by the way. I just want to make sure that the chat remembers.
The chat remembers, I remember.
Good.
Curios taking L's left, right, and center. Again, notable criminal Curios.
Okay, great. Lock them up. All right, here we go. Let's jump into the game. I was talking about how interested I was in the bans. Things are making a lot of sense here on the left-hand side of the screen. Mimikyu and Slowbro being banned means those two lockdown Unite moves are gone, and I'll say it, the two natural counters to Charizard are gone. So I think this is a very, very safe, and I'll call it telegraphed pick for LG in pick number 1.
Yeah, we're about to see how strong it is, right? You said yesterday, if you can hold it down in the early game, you can really keep it from taking over. However, if there's a team that can get a Pokemon like Charizard going, it is certainly Luminosity Gaming. So happy Humpers with their silly name, have a lot of hard work ahead of them.
Yeah, I am curious into what direction they want to go to try to counter this Charizard. Right now, with Urshifu and Ceruledge, two pretty sick picks right now in the meta. We'd already talked about how strong Ceruledge is. Urshifu as well, a very, very strong Pokemon. Blue Shifu is back, and Anisus is an absolute monster on any of those melee options.
Yeah, but immediately that opens the door for a great pick out of Joey, right? I mean, there are some prime mean look targets for that Umbreon. We can be diving in, engaging as well. Just that little pop of stun to get Otter over the fence and everybody else that's willing to engage on these melee targets that can't quite make it to their target because the Umbreon's kind of running interference.
Yeah, that is true. We'll have that natural block.
Please don't tell me my mic is not working.
It's starting to clip a little bit when you're getting louder. Feels like maybe some kind of natural noise gate. I don't know, but when the fast pivot, we'll see. But yeah, we have that Blissey pick, obviously bold into a Pokemon like Umbreon. We don't see that too often, and honestly, going to be taking the Crustle as well. So that's a lot of reliance on shields for these late game team fights with their Unite moves, all to be in the face of Joey's Umbreon. It's a pretty dangerous option to lean into. I don't know. It's a bold strategy in the draft. We'll have to see it could pay off. And I'm assuming we'll get Dupsnax back momentarily, but for now, I will talk about these final picks. Chandelure, the final option for the Happy Humpers. Personally, one of my favorite Pokemon in this metagame right now. I actually think it is incredible. Imprisoned does such a good job against a lot of the options in the metagame. Blaziken specifically, it has that hard shutdown too. Still, notably, and it was mentioned, we're referencing the podcast a lot tonight, but Muck was bringing it up last night, no Mew these days into the Charizard, which its Unite move is actually an incredible natural counter to the Charizard Unite move. That invisibility field that it creates. All right, I can hear you. Oh, I could for a moment. All right, well, we'll give Dupsnax a couple more minutes, but we are jumping back into game number 1. Well, it is a game number 1, rather, but it will be the Charizard leading the path forward for Luminosity Gaming. And, of course, the Ceruledge and Urshifu bringing up the damage core from the other side. Happy Humpers, definitely going to be trying to rock this thing out against a Titan in the LG squad.
so I can hear.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
the same as you.
All right, great. Okay, all right. Well, I'm back live to stream. We'll get Deuce next in here in a minute, but I will jump forward here. Blissey, being played by Bits. Interesting to see them on the support role now after seeing them be that hyper carry role for so long. Joey getting the early evolution to Umbreon, but it couldn't have come at a better time as they're going to be setting up for a 3v3 side up on this bottom end of the map. Bats' Saraledge is going to make the quick dip with Kiratin's Dwebble to the top side to set up for a 4v4. Poor Cubfu for any stuff's gonna have to go up against the world to compete with the whole team.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I don't even know if chat was hearing you, my friend.
I muted for a bit to try to talk to some of the people in the back end. That's why they couldn't hear me. But we're all back now.
Oh, we're all back. Okay, here we go. We did it. Things happened. A riveting score in a minute 30 seconds here of 2-13 on the nose. Of course, Blissey going to get chased out. Blue Shifu going in, getting jumped on by the Umbreons. I thought they might. And Gossifleur getting an Evo just for A-pressing their support counterpart.
Interesting to see Joey go with that foul play option as well, just wanting more brawl. Not many Pokemon on their side of the battlefield would really benefit from mean look. Everybody else has got a decent amount of chase down. Instead, go for that still prominent crowd control with a little bit more oomph behind that Umbreon's attacks.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was saying, right? Go for the foul look, and you just kind of pop them on that quick engage, slow them down so that Cramorant can step up, sort them out. Blaziken can step up, sort them out, or especially Charizard step up, sort them out.
There's an interesting move selection, though. Bats on the Saraledge will not be going with the newly buffed Bitter Blade, but instead is going to lock up the Psycho Cut as they chase down Cramorant all the way back to their home base. Otter going on an invade and hoping to find an easy way to recall all the way back to base. They will be shut down by Saraledge as they will take that KO, but quickly returned. Blaziken finds a way to knock out that Lampent.
Charmeleon hanging out, though, here up top. Going to put a little bit of static to this Blue Shifu, but they pretty much secured everything with the help of the Blissey. They're actually going in. Blissey right behind them. Going to have to chuck a couple eggs. No, elect to score as Blue Shifu still sliding all over the place. Nice little separation with an Egg Bomb to keep the pressure off of Blue so they can get back to their side of the base.
There it is. I mean, this Pokemon dominated the metagame for I don't remember how long because of abilities like that. The mobility that Blue Shifu has to be able to chase you all the way into your Flux Zone and still get all the way back to halfway to their home base. That is just what Urshifu can provide.
Nice attempt at separation, charging up the overheat. That's going to be a good secure. But now they're looking, I believe that's Kurtan right there on the Crustle, getting beat up, getting taken out. Now they're on the goal zone. That poor little, not quite Chandelure yet. I believe that's a Lampin. Going to have to just hang out and watch as really LG's running to the bottom, securing red. This is...
All right, Regieleki walking up to the doorstep yet again. Urshifu trying to hang, doing as much damage as they can with the Cramorant Unite move. Actually going to be the main discouraging force out of this end, but Saraledge with the Unite move gets stopped midway through the channel. Bats picked up into the air and immediately knocked out. Amazing work from Kyrios on this Charizard. I mean, frame perfect timing on that Charizard to cancel that Unite. A bizarre way to play it, but it works out so well. Charizard double digits right now. Overlord at level 11 on this Blaziken. Luminosity Gaming is cooking already. Joey gonna receive a bit of that healing from the Pollen Puff, as honestly this bottom path has been going just as well as the top, evidenced by far by the goal zones being shattered and of course the huge score line as well. 5 minutes remain in this match, and currently Happy Humpers are just desperately looking for a W. As Luminosity Gaming have been shutting this whole thing down. Bats does elect to go back in with the Phantom Force, and Endisus tries to lock down Joey for a moment. Big overheat channel will get Bats out, just too much upfront damage, and Bits cannot out-heal on this Blissey. They do get imprisoned, but the Unite move used just a moment before the animation will still launch to the Urshifu, who's going to try to Unite move, but that targets into Umbreon, a very naturally tanky Pokemon as a defender role, and will not fall to that onslaught and Fist of Fury from Urshifu, so they will stand tall. Luminosity Gaming win yet another team fight in our Game 1.
210 points separating this team, and I'm hoping you can hear me now, as for some reason the tech issues are just frustrating, to be quite honest, Zoinks. But Happy Humpers, they're up against it, down 210 points. Meanwhile, Luminosity's taking the basement Reggie. They're working on the top Reggie Alecki. Blushifu is trying to get something done, but they are just buckled. Otter gets sorted out by Saraledge, but no problem as they're rolling forward. On the backup is the Criminal Curios. They're trying to get the pad, but it's actually the Eldegoss that sorts them out in short order. Luminosity Gaming doesn't take the Reggie Alecki, but they do pretty darn good in that fight.
Yeah, they take out all the threats that they needed to, right? Anybody who posed a relevant factor to how LG could fall, they really were able to stop them. And you see Happy Humpers even taking their own central area is a dangerous notion right now with how Luminosity Gaming is playing. Very aggressive rotations, a lot of invades, a lot of scoring attempts as JL tries to dump in 28. However, now that this Urshifu and Chandelure are online, the damage numbers make that a little more challenging.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just the Blaziken on level 13. Everyone else on Happy Humpers is not too far off. The score line is rough, but in terms of experience, if they work on their side of the map and get a catch or two, they're going to be right back in this Zoinks. 3 minutes, 20 seconds left. They've still got a lot of runway to work with.
Yeah, that is true. They have some big moments. I can't get that picture of Charizard Unite move canceling the Saraledge Unite move out of my head, though. So even if they bring one of the strongest Unites in the meta right now, if that can't hold a candle to it, I'm not sure what can. So, currently, Happy Humpers still looking for an option to shut this whole thing down. Urshifu's Unite move caught out in the Flux Zone. That's a 5-on or 4-on-1 situation.
Very rare that a Blushifu can't operate in the Flux Zone, and it kind of gets caught in no man's land, only landing 11 hits on that Unite move and quickly getting eviscerated and sorted out. We've got 15 seconds here till our next basement Reggie, and Happy Humpers, they're up against it, not only on the score line now, but we've got a coalesced Luminosity team that's really hit a stride.
Yeah, this Crustle and Chandelure are going to hang out on the bottom side. It feels like almost more so to just try to force Luminosity Gaming to rush this basement Reggie and instead leave them alone everywhere else. You show vision, you make sure that Luminosity Gaming feels at least a little bit of pressure to take this objective, and now, hopefully, all this central area and TD farm is going to be free and safe for the Happy Humpers to clear.
How are Happy Humpers going to approach there? They're quickly checking the tall grass to see where is actually safe to step into to get close to this Rayquaza. But there's 2 Tier 1 goal zones that Luminosity is having to babysit, which shows them to be split a little bit.
Yeah, they got a couple of dive options, right, that a Blissey could try to unite, make a big, quick engage, but right now you need to force LG into the area of effect, so hitting Rayquaza, the best way to bait.
Well, going for an X-Scissor right on top of JL. A lot of pressure in. We'll rubber rousing. Going in is the Saraledge. They're looking for a target. Bliss's is right on time. Right into the Shandy Unite as well. Nobody's really blinded, though. Everybody's out of pocket. Crussel's going to be the first one to fall. They're pivoting, looking for another one as Charizard has taken to the skies and are trying to burn all the tall grass down. Right into the mix is Bats. Bats landing up a ton of hits. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. And the Bliss Assistance reset comes back through. And now they've got 2 down the other way. Luminosity is up against it. We need Overlord to step up and find their next target. Is that going to be Snorlax? Question mark. We're moving in. Chandelure still gets space, but no, they get him down for free. Blaziken with just a free real estate to get straight on top of the Shandy, and that looks like to be the beginning of the end. Crustle finally gets buckled again. We're flipping the script. We're getting back into the middle. Any sus looking for the next target. Overlord wants some more action. They're separated from the eggs. The overheat is charged. They're back on top of any sus. They're low. They're gone. And now it's just the Blissey standing, and they see Bits, and they know that Bits shattered down to pieces are the Happy Humpers. Luminosity Gaming 220, 223, 233 to 24, looking gargantuan.
That was the most oh my gosh, the Saraledge Unite move almost exploded everybody with a sliver of HP. Luminosity Gaming is running back. Absolutely absurd, but LG is able to hold on, which it feels like so much of this matchup has been that narrative. But that final fight was the most anime tournament arc BS I've ever seen in my life. Anisus on one side KOing every member of LG and never going down, and Overlord doing the same on the other side. It felt like we were just waiting for those 2 players to finally face off to really determine the end result of that team fight, and finally they do. Anisus putting up a great fight, but in the end, the reinforcements from LG show up a little bit earlier than that of those on Happy Humpers, and LG is able to swing that their direction. But Anisus and Bits made that look extremely close. That Blissey Urshifu duo is scary.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And they found some life, right, when they needed to. They really gave themselves a decent shot. However, Luminosity able to leverage that massive score lead that they already had, and Overlord, being the biggest one in the lobby, finally able to flip the script, seeing that there were some targets. I mean, right when it was Chandelure peeling back to the right and Overlord got the free shot to just shatter the glass, and they went for it, it kind of felt like it was over at that point in time. Yeah. Because that Shandy was going to be crucial to keep that pressure going for the Happy Humpers. I mean, like you said, what a showdown. Yeah. What a showdown in that final fight.
There were some sick moments there for a moment. Honestly, we called it out, though. The Saraledge dove in, and Bits tried to unite the Saraledge at one moment. I don't know if this was an intentional play, because if it was kind of sick, but Blissey's unite move didn't work on paper, right? Because Chandelure was Phantom Forced at the time. So there was no target for Blissey to be able to hit. Now, I don't know if you, like, get the support benefits for, like, using your Unite move. You know how it boosts some of your stats during that moment, whatever, and then you're just able to use your Unite again? If that's the tech, that is sick. I love that strategy. You, like, Unite to get that bonus, and then you Phantom Force to take it away. I don't know. It was a really clever idea if that's how it works. If it doesn't, oh well, still interesting how it finally played out.
Still super dope.
Yeah, honestly, it worked out in some cool ways. Bat's almost able to turn her around when she was able to ult and hit like all 4 members of LG. But yeah, wild stuff in that game number 1. Felt like LG for 8 minutes, and then things got kind of nuts, which was really cool.
Kind of nuts is an understatement, but everybody kind of had their moments. My question was, they kind of sent Otter on these not with the team type missions, right? And I'd like to see Otter a little bit more in game 2, just because I like their cram play. I think it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
If they are on cram or whatever Pokemon they do end up being on. But I mean, to have a player like Otter feel like they're kind of sidelined is just no fun.
Yeah.
I just want to see them game a little bit.
Yeah. I feel like they had some good moments, right? I mean, Bot Path was going exceptionally well for them all game. They broke that tier 1 very early. They were able to invade pressure with it after breaking. Like, it's kind of the curse of consistency sometimes when we we see players who are genuinely so good and rocking it. Yeah. Hold on. Got a ban question I got to answer. And I'll answer for stream 2. Only EX Pokemon are banned. So, if anybody was curious about that, that is how it is in but anyway, now the players know, now everyone home in chat knows, only EX Pokemon are banned from this tournament. I know there's some goofy stuff going on. We'll be fine.
It'll be totally fine.
Exactly. Okay.
One day we'll be able to do it. That day is not today. And that's all right.
That's true.
Because that was a dope game without any EXs. So let's get after it.
That Urshifu play from Anysus, I'm still thinking about it. That was crazy. They were able to basically face tank all of the Cramorant Unite move. Like, Otter was just gulping and gatling in right in the middle of the Rayquaza pit, and Urshifu just jumps right in front of it. All that natural shielding you get with Liquidation, and then your Night move, just all your auto attacks, it bulks up this giant shield that eats every single Cramorant hit. And I mean, with Cramorant so popular, we have to see players adapting to what can shut down a good Cramorant Unite move, and essentially it is find whoever's tanky enough and just jump on the grenade of these fights, right? Jump in front of it, don't let those fish bounce onto anybody else, and make sure you tank it all. Or blind them. Greninja Smokescreen does stop Cramorant from ulting everybody. It's actually so sick. But we'll get to that a different day, maybe. I'm still praying for Greninja. Come on.
Come on, Greninja. Fingers crossed. All right, Happy Humpers down 1. Luminosity getting first pick because the Humpers chose second. And Luminosity not changing anything up quite yet, going with that Mimikyu ban, and Happy Humpers targeting down JL's Hoopa. And it's hard to say that that's a wrong choice. That seems always like the safe bet.
Completely agree. Mimikyu Slowbro bans, I think if you're on purple side, we are going to see these so much dupes next. I think these are going to be very, very frequent bans on this spot with so many teams prioritizing Charizard this hard. That is what we're going to be looking forward to. But it will be a Charizard ban for the Happy Humpers. So now Curios will have to be look for a new option. But Overlord is going to first pick that Saraledge, a very tricky Pokemon. Yeah, didn't know it worked like that into Charizard, but that was sick.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah Ledge itself, it can have some crazy pop-off moments. You know, Overlord's going to be looking to slide on it too.
100%.
Quickly queuing up is the Blissey again, which Bits had a great game on the Blissey last time. Quickly switching off to the Mime. So we might be doing a little bit of leash-type action here. Bats locking in the Umbreon. So two decent choices for the Happy Humpers, but I mean, now you've left up, I was just going to say Blaziken for Luminosity here. Otter might be able to default to Cram, and Luminosity really has like the highest octane picks available in the game right now.
Yeah, it is kind of wild if you're like, yeah, we'll take away the Umbreon from Joey, and Joey's like, I guess I'll just play Tree.
Right.
Like,
I guess I'll play my other Pokemon.
Exactly. But obviously, I think Umbreon was one of the main deterrents to this Urshifu's success. If we're being honest, I think that was a clear pick that was exceptionally strong. But Umbreon was really putting a big stop to that Urshifu. So now that it is on the side of Happy Humpers, Anysus has even more room to get to work. However, they won't have that Blissey Unite move, or sorry, they have the chance with the Blissey Unite move that would be essentially giving Attacker Mime vibes, which is a lot to ask.
That would be a lot to ask, especially in this comp, because Mime would be playing front and center in a blender that it does not want to contend with, right? Ceruledge and Blaziken flanked by a Mamoswine, like that is just chaos. I like where they landed with this Inteleon. Get some big damage at range and see if you can at least set up Anysus on their engagements here.
Yeah, okay. We're playing Poke again. It feels like it's been so long, Deus Ex, since we've had a Poke composition. It's been all Brawl or all Dive for so long. So many all-rounders and defenders being exceptional threats in the metagame. It feels like our attackers and our mages have been kind of being left on the porch, if you will. But finally, Inteleon and Chandelure can go out and play with their friends. I'm a big fan.
I'm a big fan as well. I mean, Happy Humpers are at least seeing, okay, Luminosity wants to play up in our face through Overlord, through Curios, through Joey. Well, maybe we'll just take a step back and put some walls up maybe and Snipe Shot. And Snipe Shot and Snipe Shot.
Exactly. I mean, the amount of damage that Inteleon and Chandelure have access to from the backline, especially if they have a Mr. Mime and an Umbreon to kind of slow that assault towards them, is pretty strong. I mean, Snorlax Boy is going to have to put down some fantastic imprisons if they want to slow down Curios or Overlord, where they really got to work. I'm curious if Overlord, and I have to imagine, Overlord is gonna go Bitterblade. I assume so. I think you always go Force, especially into this composition. You're not gonna want to get slowed down by Mime Walls with Flame Charge, so most likely go with that Force option, but unfortunately we got a quick game pause. We'll bring it back to Dupes next tonight when we get that sorted out. Thank you so much, Gamma, for being quick on the cam. We'll have you all back in the game very shortly. One player phone crash. We'll be getting right back in a second.
So what do you think of these comps off the rip? I mean, it looks like LG just leaned into all the strongest choices they could get available, and Joey and JL fend for yourselves. On the other hand, maybe a little bit more of a dialed-in strategy by the Happy Humpers.
Yeah, it could be, right? Like, we have like I mentioned, I think it's a pretty clear Poke composition with Urshifu kind of withstanding, but it's still an exceptionally strong choice. There's no reason to not force that Pokemon if Anysus is that confident on it. Where I think the composition actually hinges for LG is on the Mamoswine. When you are looking at Brawl compositions, not really Dive, right? Like, Dive's more speedster options. You're looking for backline targets where you want to burst and get out. This is not a composition like that. This is a composition that wants to push through you, keep that fight, outlast you with their tanky abilities, and the Eldegoss with their Unite move to get everyone's HP back up. It wants to push their advantage more than dive and gain an advantage. When you're in a composition like that, you need someone who can be the spearhead or, force open the other side. Mamoswine is one of the best options for that. And as a perfect side, Ice Fang's great into Urshifu. Especially Blue Shifu or the Rapid Strike. I've called it Blue Shifu or Blue Bear for so long I forgot what it's actually called.
Rapid Strike.
Yes, the Rapid Strike Urshifu. It's great at stopping that target in particular. Rapid Strike Urshifu does not give itself unstoppable near as much as Wicked Blow Urshifu. So Ice Fang, a lot more potent in that matchup.
Yeah, and don't forget the ability to kind of cross terrain, if they're using Earthquake to kind of has that little leap forward to position. Again, maybe even get on top of Snorlax boy. I believe it's Snorlax boy. Snorlax
Yeah,
kid?
no, Snorlax boy, you got it.
Jump on top of Snorlax boy because Chandelure, yes, it is poke. Yes, it is range, but it is not Decidueye or Inteleon range, right? It's kind of in that little bit further than mid-range, which kind of has the largest window in terms of range type Pokemon, right? So you have like A9, which is like short mid-range, right? And then you have like a little bit longer mid-range out of the Chandelure. But that is ground that Mamoswine can't cover, to your point.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, depends on what move they go with, if they're more tailor-made for that. But honestly, either option can really work. You can Earthquake over a wall. If you're going with the Earthquake build, you tend to see the defenders play a little more, assassin style? I can't really think of a good way to describe it, but a lot of just hiding in grass, waiting to full combo a weak target with the Earthquake and an Ice Fang combination. If they're going more high horsepower, they literally are doing their whole job is just go into them and push very hard. But we're back into game. Here we go. Let's get this thing started. Luminosity currently holding a 1-0 advantage in our series. Happy Humpers need to win this thing back to back if they want to be moving on to our finals later this evening.
Yeah, but that game one felt closer than what the scoreline looked like, right?
100%.
Especially in that last fight, Happy Humpers really found their footing. Immediately on the invade is JL. I don't need a Hoopa to invade and come take your stuff. And they're going to be successful here. They're going to be leaving with the buff. The Sobble not even knowing what's going on. There's JL's trying to work its way back. And we all know Kubfu struggles early. So this might be an opportunity for Luminosity to feel a little bit of blood in the water and press this advantage.
I was going to say, I think JL probably expected the Kubfu in the central area, probably a little shocked that they swung up to the top side and then saw that target there instead. But now it's going to be the comeback. Bits is able to jump up to this side. A few light screen stuns onto Joey, but that Swinub, very, very strong in the defensive category, even in these early first few levels. So they're going to withstand everything. Plus, they're running Assault Vest, by the way. One thing we didn't mention too much, but a lot of special attack damage on the other side, so it makes sense.
Yeah, Luminosity seeing that they have a player advantage going straight for the bodies on the Happy Humpers, and because of that spacing, they're able to get a bunch of the Swablu, and now just the Altaria remains, which are they're going to leave up to, I believe, Overlord to grab that, just to keep that experience train going. Putting the pressure on Otter a little bit downstairs by themselves.
Yeah, Bats on the invade angle. I love this. Drizzile, Inteleon, actually a fantastic invade Pokemon, even in the Sobble days. That boosted auto attack is huge. But ooh, big Ice Fang gonna start this thing off.
Trying to reset. We're going for the follow-up, though. Curio seeing an opportunity, see if they can get the chase down. They're getting the KO on Mime quickly, and now they're looking at Snorlax, who immediately sees Otter and flips the script.
Yeah, let's just run, see if we can slow down Curios on this Sarah Ledge in the bottom path a little bit. I believe they are running some stacking items. I know Overlord on the Sarah Ledge, Curios on the Blaziken. I know they both are running those stacking items, so trying to defend those goal zones, especially as Chandelure, is a good option. Leaves that burn damage, which is that natural ticking damage, stop you from scoring.
Umbreon clipping Otter a little bit, but now getting caught out. Kurtan in between 4 players. They're low on HP. They're going to make it out with a little bit of a hop here. Good cover fire by Bats, forcing all of LG just to go back to their goal zone and take a breath.
Psycho cut games back-to-back from both Overlord and Bats, respectively. Very interesting. Obviously, we've seen so much talk around Bitterblade, but now we're going to be changing it up in this series. Cramorant starting off this fight and going to continue this fight.
Yeah, you can really see the strength of Ice Fang, right? You're quickly repositioning Kurtan, and now because of that, picking up, putting down Bats, which means 2 more KOs for Overlord. Luminosity is really just moving 4 all over the map, serving as Otter and JL to just hold down the other path, and they're doing fine, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's a really impressive vouch for those 2 players that they're locking it down. But whenever you do spend 4 to 1 path, you are leaving any sus alone on the other side, which is always going to be a risk. We saw how well that worked out for Happy Humpers in the late fight of last game, so we're going to have to see if that risk is warranted 2 games in a row.
You got to think, there wasn't a single point scored in that top path while JL was there by themselves, Zoink. So, I mean, how much value did they actually get? They're going to tear this Regieleki off the map here, and maybe all they have to show for it are these middle birds.
Yeah, that's not a huge vouch, but one thing I do want to mention, no walls from our Mr. Mime this time around. That is a power swap psychic build, the old run it down option. I mean, we all remember that patch. It was devastating, definitely more balanced now, but I've heard a decent moveset. Our good friend Bridge has been playing a decent amount of it, so it's a solid option these days.
They're going to put the bear on the leash, find a KO on JL. Now it's just Overlord hanging out in the face of Anysus and Bits here, who are actually going to go straight for a score as Anysus is just running the fade on the Cerulege, popping the Unite move right to the Cram Unite. His Otter is just chucking it on Bits. Here comes Joey. Joey's going to get credit for the KO, so they've stemmed the tide on this goal zone a little bit, and they're turning back the other way. Overlord's still standing. Now they're looking for more targets right on Anysus. Anysus is so low, they're going to be able to dash out with a nice little imprison by Snorlax, but to cover that up, but we pop our Unite move. Cerulege straight into the back line. They're going to go for a Unite move. Chandler, Unite move back the other way, but we are getting them sorted out. Overlord goes down in the Flux Zone.
Oh, they're going in deep for these ones, but it's Happy Humpers responding huge. Cerulege takes out that Mamo, and the squad is going to look for even more Doom Snacks. They take out these wild Pokemon first, but they are standing in front of this goal zone, a target in their sights, and again, it's just JL to hold it down.
Picking up a berry and watching this goal zone break in front of them. 7 left, and they've got enough personnel here to really fade everybody from LG out. And I have to point out, Joey is still level 8 here. They would have wanted to hit this evolution already, and man, that Unite move could have been useful in that earlier push.
Yeah, that is true. I often say the Ice Fang build of Mamoswine, you can kind of get away with those earlier levels, like Piloswine can kind of hang, but you're right, in that situation, a Mammoth Unite move would have been fantastic. But now it's going to be up to Joey to try to hold it down against a Regieleki, a task definitely not too tall for the Mamo.
Tank support core in here, and we just saw a little bit of a dipsker. The Phantom Force popping right back in, going for the Psycho Cut, forcing out the Urshifu Unite move for only 4 hits. So that's not as good as the resource would have liked to be expended, as Anysus just has to retreat.
Yeah, I'm just going to bail, retreat back to their side. Obviously, a way better game for them so far than in game number 1. They're holding the score advantage, much in part to that Regieleki a little while ago. So, big moves from the Happy Humpers. So far, for the first time in our series, it is Luminosity Gaming, the ones in the backseat, trying to staggered a little bit, picking up some wild Pokemon and trying to level up as quickly as they can. They set for the next team fight, which I have to imagine will be on that basement side of the map. Happy Humpers have not been too interested in any basement Reggies, though. They have been all top all the time.
Yeah, just really trying to stress the score lead, which they have. It's minor, but now Kurtan's going to... I mean, there's 3 players there, immediately trying to dash away, and they're able to, Zoinks, but really just a frog hair away from getting knocked out.
Oh, it is so scary, especially with that Psycho Cut, reducing your defense. It just gets real worrisome when you're into those kind of situations. Cramorant, also randomly a Pokemon that shreds physical defense. Its boosted auto shreds more physical defense than it does special defense, and it's a special attacker. I don't know, play with your team, I guess. But hey, Cerulege and Cramorant working together in tandem are a force that you cannot, I don't know, you got to worry about them is what I'm going to say. Big lingering hitbox moment for Bats as they pick up a couple of those Swablues with the snipe shot as one water type to another, just kind of poking at each other from range.
Yeah, Happy Hunter is going to have free range. I keep calling them Hunters, Humpers, whatever. Maybe my brain is just protecting all of us here. Regieleki quickly getting ripped out of the map by the Humpers, as that's going straight towards Tier 2. 2:25 on the clock, and Luminosity, no real interest, it looks like, to defending this. Nobody going back. They're looking for more targets to see if they can identify where Bats is hanging out.
Yeah, there's some fantastic secure options on, honestly, both compositions, but I don't think you could let a Chandelure, Urshifu, and Inteleon really have a Ray unchecked. So it will be a fast adaptation to that central area and leave that goal zone unprotected. No one is going to take that fight, as it is going to be Bits and Anysus in pockets of one another yet again, just like it was in game number 1.
They're looking and waiting. They know where everybody on LG is. They've shown themselves already. And LG is down, but not by much. They do have a tier 1 up if they want to make a clever play. Straight into the back line, though. Anysus with Bets is looking for a target. And Curios gets really shelled for a ton of damage, forcing Joey to step up. Icicle Fang right into the Cramorant Unite. Cramorant gets buckled very quickly, going back the other way. We're showtiming on top of them, but it's Cerulege finding KOs. We've got one player down on each side. The next one is right on the verge. Anysus is trying to get in there. Excuse me. Bats is getting in there. 2 players down as Overlord is dispatched. Bats still popping shots here. Kyrios finds their mark with 2, and it looks like they're starting to work on Rayquaza.
Yeah, when you got a full HP Blaziken, I think you can be a lot more confident, but you gotta watch out. That is an overheat. Chandelure swinging for the fences, but just a little shy of the KO potential. You can't really adjust the timing on that last hit too well, as it's overheat you're contending with, and that will be Blaziken securing it. The criminal Kyrios takes the Rayquaza.
And now Otter, with their 36 points, just wham around the map, trying to get those 72 points and to stretch this lead a little bit. But Happy Humpers do have an opportunity. They're only separated by about 140 points, which is a manageable amount if they can break these shields and make it across the map. But are they going to have enough time? No. Another hundo banger into the back almost goes in. That definitely would have spelled doom. But Blaziken puts in theirs. That's Kyrios. And that forces the concession out of the Humpers.
All right, Luminosity Gaming take this thing in a 2-0 fashion, but I think this game was a lot deeper than just the scoreline, Tube Snacks. A matchup that the Happy Humpers put on a showcase of what they can do, some creative picks, that Psychic guard power swap, Mr. Mime looking good from Bits, Bats absolutely shooting straight on that Inteleon. So good looks for them, but this Luminosity Gaming squad is humming tonight.
They really are, but I'll point out, this is the first time I've seen Overlord on 3 knockouts in a game in a very, very long time. So at least tip of the cap to the Happy Humpers for at least adjusting from that 13 knockout game 1 to the 3 knockout game 2 here on a very good Pokemon in Ceruledge.
Yeah, and again, I know I brought it up a couple of times already, I think twice before, but again, Psycho Cut, very interesting to see that option. Maybe it is just because you're also playing the Cramorant and you're doubling into that defense shred opportunity. I'm not too sure, but either way, a great series so far. We say goodbye to Happy Humpers. Luminosity Gaming will be moving on in our tournament, playing in our winners match, which will be happening just a little bit later, as we have one more qualifying series for you tonight. It will be the E-Kittens versus Comatose right after this.